New York City, a place of dreams and nightmares. In the heart of Hell's Kitchen, crime runs rampant and corruption is law. But in the shadows, a blind lawyer named Matt Murdock is about to rise, not in the courtroom, but on the streets. By day, he seeks justice through the law. By night, he becomes something else entirely, a masked vigilante known as Daredevil. Welcome to the brutal, gripping world of Daredevil Season 1, where the battle for justice isn't fought in the light, but in the dark. Matt Murdock's story begins with tragedy. As a young boy, he saves a man from an accident, only to be blinded by a toxic chemical spill. But while he loses his sight, his other senses grow inhumanly sharp, allowing him to hear whispers from blocks away and feel the world in ways no ordinary man can. Raised by his father, Jack Murdock, a struggling boxer, Matt learns about fighting and integrity. But when his father refuses to throw a fight, the mob has him killed, leaving Matt orphaned and filled with pain. From that moment, he makes a vow to fight for justice, no matter the cost. Years later, Matt grows up to become a lawyer, starting a small law firm with his best friend, Foggy Nelson. Their goal? To help the innocent who can't afford justice. But in a city drowning in crime, the law isn't always enough, and Matt knows it. By night, Matt takes matters into his own hands. Armed with his heightened senses and brutal combat skills, he dons a black mask and starts taking down criminals, one broken bone at a time. But Hell's Kitchen has a king, a shadowy figure pulling all the strings. His name? Wilson Fisk. Fisk isn't just a crime lord, he's a mastermind operating behind the scenes, controlling politicians, the police, and the underworld. On the surface, he presents himself as a man of vision, promising to rebuild the city. But in reality, he's a ruthless tyrant who will eliminate anyone who stands in his way. As Matt's crusade intensifies, he gains allies, like Karen Page, a woman seeking the truth after uncovering shady dealings at her former job, and Ben Urich, a veteran journalist willing to risk everything to expose Fisk's empire. But Matt also makes enemies. The Russian mob, the Yakuza, the Hand, all have a stake in Hell's Kitchen, and they want the masked vigilante dead. And the more Matt fights, the more he realizes his war isn't just against criminals, it's against his own limits. As Matt pushes himself further, his double life starts crumbling. Foggy discovers the truth. His best friend is the masked vigilante making headlines. Their friendship shatters. Meanwhile, Fisk launches a full-scale attack, taking out anyone in his way. Karen and Ben dig too deep, leading to Urich's tragic murder, proving that Fisk will kill without mercy. But Matt doesn't fight alone. With the help of Stick, his ruthless former mentor, and Claire Temple, a nurse who keeps patching him up, Matt trains harder, fights smarter, and becomes stronger. He crafts a new suit, the iconic red armor, and finally embraces his true identity, Daredevil. In a brutal final battle, Daredevil takes on Fisk one-on-one. It's a fight of strength versus skill, power versus agility, brute force versus pure determination. Fisk fights like a beast, but Matt's years of training and sheer willpower give him the edge. With one final strike, he takes down the Kingpin. Fisk is arrested, and for the first time, Hell's Kitchen has hope. But the war is far from over. The city is still corrupt, shadows still lurk in the dark, and new threats are on the horizon. Matt Murdock may have won this battle, but as long as evil exists, Daredevil will never stop fighting. And that's Daredevil Season 1, a story of loss, justice, and one man's relentless fight to protect his city. But this is just the beginning. With new villains rising, darker secrets unfolding, and more intense battles ahead, Matt Murdock's journey is far from over. Want to know what happens next? Subscribe and stay tuned as we continue the epic saga of Daredevil.